Climate disasters threaten irreplaceable works of art. Museums have a battle plan. Curators and conservators are finding innovative solutions to protect our history from disaster. Will some be destroyed despite their best efforts? The Getty Villa in Los Angeles was threatened by the wind-driven Palisades fire in January 2025. Photographed by David Swanson, AFP, Getty Images. By Katie Kelleher. September 12, 2025. A boy stands in contrapposto, leaning his weight onto his right leg, one hand lifted to his head, as though to adjust his delicate olive wreath. His expression is noble and calm, the very picture of composed dignity. This bronze statue of this young Olympian is dated between 300 to 100 BC, one of the few life-sized Greek bronzes to have survived thousands of years into the 21st century. But in January 2025, the statue of a victorious youth was nearly lost, consumed by the Palisades fire, which roared through Los Angeles County, destroying close to 7,000 structures. Housed inside the Getty Villa in Los Angeles, victorious youth managed to survive. As the fire consumed thousands of structures, including the Getty's immediate neighbors, the museum stood virtually untouched. The collection inside was undamaged. LA has almost all the disaster typologies, explains Camille Kirk, sustainability director at Getty. We even have hurricanes from time to time. The disasters we see are not purely climate change, they are exacerbated by climate change, but they are also part of the long human history of the place. When the villa was built, it was constructed with this knowledge in mind. The building was designed to withstand earthquakes, fire, and flooding. It escaped the Palisades fire because of its irrigation system, which was activated early on, and its double-walled construction, which kept the art safe from heat damage. Nor did smoke penetrate the galleries. Special air handling systems were already in place to seal off each room. It wasn't luck that saved the victorious youth. It was forethought. Statue of a victorious youth, a rare Greek bronze, was protected from the Palisades fire because of the Getty's forethought. Photographed by Kendrick Brinson, The New York Times/Redex. As climate disasters become more frequent, institutions like the Getty and governments around the globe are having to grapple with the possibility that humanity's great treasures could be damaged or destroyed despite their best efforts to protect them. Curators and conservators, tasked with protecting our cultural memory, are always creating new solutions for fresh problems. Some institutions, like the Getty Villa and the Charleston Museum in South Carolina, credit their predecessors' foresight in designing buildings strong enough to weather our ongoing climate catastrophes, while others, including the Mauritshuis in The Hague, are putting stock in their team's ability to adapt. And it's not just museums. From historic city parks to famous clipper ships, there are thousands of significant sites at risk. From ancient rock art to Dutch Golden Age paintings, great cultural works are vulnerable to the chaotic whims of the Anthropocene. Some are threatened by flooding, others by fire, but the through line connecting them is what we stand to lose. The most potent evidence of human ingenuity and creativity, the story of our shared artistic past, perhaps even what makes us human at all. Some can't be saved. Cave paintings will continue to flake from the walls, and ancient cities will eventually crumble to dust. There's truly no one-size-fits-all solution. The stewards of each site must assess the threats to their collection and try to prepare for all probable disasters. But the curators, conservators, and researchers who document cultural climate-induced loss do more than sound the alarm. They are also working to best preserve the objects that can be saved. We know from psychology research that there's been a rise in anxious concern about climate change, says Kirk, who suggests that some of the anxiety about climate change might be rooted in this inchoate fear that we might be losing beauty from the world. What happens if we lose archaeological sites, built heritage, objects that tell stories about us as humans? We lose our stories. We lose knowledge about us. Our past selves, our present selves, our future selves, says Kirk. The loss of culture is a loss of identity. These are the climate-related challenges faced by the conservators of cultural sites and works of art. Some can be preserved for future generations while others may be too vulnerable to climate chaos to save. What the images of Los Angeles's fires don't show. Protecting a famous Vermeer painting from the threat of floods. In 1665, painter Johannes Vermeer, the Sphinx of Delft, put the finishing touches on the luminous girl with a pearl earring, a now iconic image that depicts what art historians call a tronie, or a fictionalized person, lips slightly parted, wearing an exotic turban and a single oversized pearl. The mysterious work has beguiled audiences for centuries. It currently hangs in room 15 at the Mauritshuis, the self-proclaimed most beautiful museum in The Hague. Though The Hague and the museum are protected by seawalls and dikes, storm surge barriers and floodgates, it is, like 26% of the Netherlands, still below sea level. Protecting their masterpieces from flooding is front of the mind for the Mauritshuis' curators and conservators. Our most likely climate threat is flooding, due to extreme rainfall or western winds causing a tidal wave breaking trough one of the coastal defenses, says Judith Neeson, head of collection and research at the Mauritshuis. Although this has not happened in the past, we do believe that we need to prepare for such scenarios. Juliana Owada, the First Lady of Argentina, is visiting the Mauritshuis Museum in The Hague together with Queen Maxima of the Netherlands. Photograph by Robin van Lonkewegen, Pool/Hollands-Hoop/Redex. The museum has a priority list of objects that would be moved first, and girl with a pearl earring, as well as other Northern European masterpieces held by the museum, including works by Rembrandt van Rijn and Peter Paul Rubens, are likely on the list. The in case of disaster protocol for imminent flooding also includes switching off electricity, building dams, closing extra security doors, but also training on what to do afterwards, including triage of the damage and putting dehumidifiers in place. Neeson notes that the safety measures are constantly changing, that there is never a status quo but can shift to react to all probable threats. Given the pregnable location of the museum, staff need to be continually watching, monitoring future threats and adapting as weather patterns and sea levels change. Resilient architecture and institutional planning keep rare American pottery safe. Often, damage comes in a more dramatic form: hurricanes. According to a 2024 study from nonpartisan nonprofit Climate Central, the severity of hurricanes has been significantly boosted by ocean warming. Fortunately, the Charleston Museum in South Carolina protects their collection of significant works by enslaved potter David Drake behind what curator of history Chad Stewart describes as big, brown, and brick brutalist-style building. Built in the 1980s, Stewart says, aesthetically, our building does not get great views from the public. He recalls a time when a curator came over from the Victoria and Albert Museum in London and said upon exiting the car, "My, what a lovely prison you have." Yet the structure has performed well in major weather events like Hurricane Hugo, which hit Charleston as a Category 4 in 1989. For a major storm, like Hugo, Stewart says it's museum policy to mobilize our curatorial staff from all departments and box up the contents of their nearby, affiliated historic houses, moving their extended collection to the relative safety of the main museum. The Charleston Museum houses the largest public collection of David Drake pottery. Drake was an enslaved artisan who frequently inscribed his work with original verse. On this pot, dated July 31, 1840, he referenced his own enslavement. "Day belongs to Mr. Miles, where the oven bakes and the pot biles." Photograph courtesy the Charleston Museum.